However, we're going to now be talking about two new players in the name of Shaneak and Marisa, the UKIE circuit champion, the current reigning champion, here to defend her title. Did win it back in 2019, yeah?
Yep, and was immediately offered the invite to the next circuit there and then. So she's been qualified for the best part of 3 years. Thank a global pandemic for that one. But also, she kind of won the 2019 circuit at the peak of her activity. This was the year where she was beating Mr. R and MVD at Albion 4 and then goes on to win the circuit in her home country. But the auto-invite was there because you would think, well, the reigning champion is obviously still going to be cracked at the game by the next one, and Marisa absolutely is. However, the circuit of Smash UK has advanced so much in what proved to not be the 1 year between finales, but the 3 years between finales that we ended up with. Marisa didn't really play over lockdown, was kind of semi-retired for the longest time, and struggled a bit at keeping up with all these new DLC characters. You know, just plays a fair and honest Palutena. You know, the character we used to complain about all those years ago now stands out as one of the more normal characters
I know we
in
wish
the game.
it was like that again. Now we wish that Palu Nair was the only thing that we had to complain about.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Palu back here.
So Marisa took extended breaks, started losing sets at weeklies to players that she had never traditionally lost to before, like B Little was one who famously got a win at the Manchester Weekly, and I'm sure there's others like that as well. But also, when going to bigger events on fairly rare occasion, just started getting blown up by DLC characters like Terry and Steve, because you just, if you haven't played over lockdown, you're not going to know how to deal with it. But thankfully, she's had a bit more time to learn those matchups and get ready for the finale, to which she's been invited for over 3 years. You knew this event was coming up. You want to prepare for it. You're by no means seeded low. Marisa, by seeding, is expected to go 1-2, which doesn't seem too flattering of a reigning champion, but when you realize that's still at minimum 4 people that you're seeded higher than who made it into the top 20 of the entire country for a year. So still in high esteem, and is fighting one of the absolute newest up-and-comers of them all. Tell me about Shaneak.
Shaneak, I think at this point, a lot of Europe know who Shaneak is. If you're tuning in, you probably have heard the name. 17th of VCA, I believe. Wins on players like OG. Really good. A really good French Falcon. We all know the famous Tea Party run.
Yep, it's unbelievable to think that was part of the 2022 circuit. Pretty much auto-qualified him for this event there and then. You know, we're currently doing the Smash UK Awards run by Smart, and that was nominated for Best Bracket Run, and my reaction was, wait, that was this year?
Yeah.
Wait. Well, I guess it was the Best Bracket Run of 2022 then. I thought it was older than that, but Shaneak, famously in event, as a relative unknown, defeated Maze Beans, Loogie, having lost to Curry Governor before all of this. So this is all a loser's run, I'm pretty sure. Beats Maze Beans, beats Loogie, beats Bloom Forever twice in a row, and beating EMAS as well, right?
I believe so.
Literally beat everyone in the perceived top 5 of the UK back to back. It was unheard of, and it shook up the meta at a time when we'd just come off an event like Super Smash Point, for instance, where we got kind of the exact same top 5 as we usually do. We thought, is this it for the UK? Do we just have a top 5 and the rest are just kind of playing bit parts at this point? And then a man named Shaneak just rolled up and said, no, I can beat these guys, and beat them all. Hasn't quite had wins on those types of players within the UK ever since, but has travelled afar to beat players from wider Europe and show that he's simply excellent.
I do remember the post-Smash Point discussion. It was...
It wasn't a pretty discussion, was it?
A few people were a little disheartened to watch streams anymore, because it was like, oh, great, we get to see Pele, Loogie, Bloom, EMAS, and whoever else was in 5th.
Yeah, I won't lie. I enjoyed being at that event. I also left before it was finished.
Yeah, I know.
Don't often do, but I'll be there in the next one.
I tuned out of the stream as well. But now things have been shaken up. We do not have a usual top 5. We have players such as Marisa and Shaneak stepping up to take this title.
Yeah, very much the old versus the new. Shaneak, who made the come up within 2022 itself and made it into our circuit finale. Marisa, the auto invite, having won in 2019, having a very quiet 2022. Well, the damage we're seeing on screen is kind of telling that story at the moment, isn't it, Ibuki?
Yep, Marisa struggling to land a hit so far. She's kind of not really found anything so far, has she, Taya?
Yeah, there's simply nothing to speak of. And complaint just painted completely purple right now. Shaneak knows that you're in the booyah range, so does go for a fairly obvious grab. Marisa isn't going to fall for that one. Like, we say that Marisa can be a little unfamiliar with DLC, but Inkling is not that. She's got plenty of experience fighting against Inkling, knows when someone's likely to go for a booyah, and finally off the back of that, getting the traditional 0 to 60 we'd expect from Palu, just in a very different manner of attacks.
Yeah. Something is now on the board. Like, we started off with a 4% from the very last hit of Nair, and now it's no longer looking so dire for Marisa.
Yeah, totally. So this is still doable, but Palu obviously is not one of the sauciest characters in terms of getting a kill out of nowhere. She is best at racking up damage and then getting a kill at a normal percent. So still a bit more work to do on Shaneak for now. Meanwhile, Inkling likes to KO off kill confirms, and we are definitely outside of that range now. So we'll just be looking for a stray back air or something. It feels kind of even to me now because they've both just got them up. They have to get a normal KO, and there is that back air at 170 after the hit.
Yep, so Shaneak sitting on 103. Definitely a dangerous percent, something that he wants to watch out for, as Palutino's no slouch to killing. Though Marisa definitely must be careful of those splat bombs, as we know what Inkling's capable of. You get some ink on your opponent, you hit them, and all of a sudden they're sitting around kill percent.
Yeah, Marisa gave the roll-in of Shaneak's dreams as well, but wasn't ready for it, just didn't think. She wouldn't actually give me that roll-in, would she?
Yeah.
Never mind, I don't get anything, but here's the booyah! And now that's 2 stocks in a row with Shaneak's full selection of lives still on deck.
Yeah, Marisa falling behind very, very badly now. It has to make some adjustments. And like you said, not being DLC'd right now, Tail. This is a base roster character. Somebody that Marisa should be familiar with fighting.
Yeah, but just, you've still got to tap back into all those years ago from when you were playing the game at the absolute most. Marisa still has some 2022 results, don't get me wrong. Did get top 8 at that smash point where we were having our few complaints about the obviousness of the top 5. Got 9th at a Manchester Conquest as well, and some decent weekly results. Just nothing world-beating to mention, but this could be the one. She might just win the circuit again. It's possible.
Possible, but it's definitely an underdog story. The retired player coming and beating all of these new top players in the UK that have been grinding some more.
Well, grinding away is that neutral air. Starting to get things started. Marisa at 92%. I think we're a little bit further away from Booyah, but maybe one more aerial could start to set that up. So Shaneak is going to be planning, think, what is my next hit going to be, and then how am I going to set up into a grab? Or do I go for something different? Marisa has that time of Shaneak's planning to just go and bring it back, but you cannot. The job was already complete.
Yeah. Shaneak's movement just so impeccable. It was just all over Marisa the entire game. It seems like every time Marisa wanted to get something started, it just didn't work out. Shaneak was always one step ahead, and if Marisa wants to take this game too, she needs to make some big changes.
But it's not like we haven't seen this earlier today. We'd kind of written Kerbo off when he went 2 games down against Owl Babies, and look who won that set. It was that Scottish man that I can see right in my frame of vision, actually sat directly behind Marisa right now. Maybe a bit of a mutual resonance power-up in play. Marisa can absolutely still do this with a switch to Corrin involved, potentially. That's definitely happening, but will it be enough? Corrin was Marisa's secondary in the Smash 4 days, and maybe in the end was the actual main. Used to be a Fox main in Smash 4, then moved over to co-main in Corrin. The Corrin kind of crept ahead at the end. Didn't like the changes to Corrin in Ultimate, so completely dropped it. But as we saw with many players like Cosmos, like MK Leo, once we saw Shaneak prove it was possible, Corrin just came back out of nowhere. And Marisa is giving it a try as well, and it is working, Yabuki.
Yeah, it's working much, much better than the Palu. Like you said, I like how at random we'll just see characters fall back into the meta when somebody just figures something out with them and everybody just takes that blueprint and builds upon it. And this resurgence in Corrin has also kind of brought it back in Marisa. Was doing very well, but now very even percents. We are going to take that stock, and Marisa will continue to fall behind.
I do understand it though with Corrin, because she did originally feel like one of the most over-nerfed characters. You know, characters that were good in the previous game, like Sonic, for instance, weren't hit that hard. But Corrin just completely, it felt like, lost the use of her side B, for instance. And the aerial drift was such a random nerf, and neutral B especially became useless. It felt like they slammed hard on the character, but she did get buffed. And the main thing to remember, she's got a sword. One of the best up airs in the game, and that stuff could never leave you. And using it to try and bring things back on Shaneak, but now, same as the previous game, despite a big comeback or a close first stock, Shaneak has pulled ahead by 2 stocks yet again.
Yeah. It started out so well. I had at least a lot of hope in the Corrin with that vast percent lead, but things I'm getting deja vu tale as things are just repeating again going into game 2.
Do we see the Fox in game 3? Does Marisa have anything else she would like to try against Shaneak?
Yep.
Well, I want to see the Corrin comeback attempt, because there is the up air that I mentioned. That is, I feel like it's got to be the best up air in the game. I'd like to see another suggestion.
We're going to have to hope for something, because the Corrin doesn't seem to be working out either, doing just as well as the Palu did, despite what Stock 1 might have suggested for just a short while.
Corrin not exactly designed to make comebacks. She's not exactly designed to hold the lead either. She's just got all the tools to hold down the neutral, and you have to win on player skill. But Marisa has plenty of that, just so does Shaneak. Can we make it happen? There was a little attempt at a forward smash to try and whisk a stock away out of nowhere, because you have to try something at least a little adventurous to bring this one back. But it's enough to say, if you can take this next stock, it's enough to say try Corrin in the next game as well.
Yeah.
Get the data, make a decision.
I mean,
wow!
And here we go. That
decision made, I think.
Yeah, that stock has been taken. Corrin proving to actually work out better than the Palu.
And if you can get out of the Booyah range by just taking some kind of useless hit, well, the advice was real, but unfortunately what you did was get caught by the Booyah. It's not like Shaneak was willingly going to attack you with something else. You knew exactly what he wanted, and eventually he did get there.
Yeah, what you said was right. Get out of the Booyah range, but you know what? Easier said than done, Tail.
It's not like you're playing Pichu where you can just hurt yourself. You have to find a way to get hit. Not an easy task, and beating Shaneak in general is not an easy task. But that is why he is 2-0 in the lead. And the winner, of course, will be moving on further in the bracket to fight Streaks, who has already beaten Henry K. RMH to get here. So that's quite the prize awaiting. Meanwhile, the loser of this would be fighting RMH, the Welsh Wario main in loser's side. Very familiar matchup for Marisa, but she would rather avoid being there if she can.
That's not somebody that anybody wants to have to fight in losers.
Yeah, totally.
the SkyJ Slayer, if you have in case forgotten.
Would SkyJ win the UK circuit finale? I think not.
No, not if you have to run into RMH.
Exactly. But right now, Marisa has won the UK circuit before. That is the one person in the entire world, we can say, has pulled off that task, and could do it again if we see stuff like this. This is a fantastic start, but it was in game 2 as well. We need to see if Shaneak can do a repeat and bring it back. Well.
Oof,
attempting the downer. Very hard to use against Corrin, who's got almost completely uninterruptible up B, meaning you have to get that spike before. And hey, when I called neutral B useless, the projectile's useless, but the bite, that will work sometimes as a big kill move.
That very much has some use, and this first stock starting out very, very nicely for Marisa. She's been progressively doing better and better in this set as it goes on. However, up smash will find its mark. Marisa's first stock bowing out at 164% as they move on to an even game on stock 2.
Yeah, it wasn't a big percentage lead, but Shaneak offered another opportunity right there in the open, rapid jabbing in the middle of nowhere. Shaneak has reclaimed that lead now with a set of Inkling aerials, but this is what we would call nice and even. But the jab lock, oh, that's getting a lot of ink on board.
Almost. I like these nicely calculated, gutsy like options that these two players go to with the spikes, with the F smashes. Just safe enough to not get punished, but also if you mess up, this is going to hit you and you'll die.
Aha. And now Marisa is on her winner's side stock with the Corrin. This is not by any means impossible. Really good turnaround with the pin, the dragon lunge, and actually a high recovery from Shaneak. Again, using the bite. Marisa says, you know what, I don't like what they did to Corrin's special moves in this game, but I'm still going to use them. I'm carrying across my Smashville playstyle, and you know what, it may work, especially those back airs.
That back air is so strong. And this much better game than game 1 and 2. We're now on to very, very even percents on the final stop. Let's see, can Marisa get on the board tail, or are we going to see a quick 3-0 from Shaneak on what is the UKIE's current champion?
I'm really interested to see it. This could be, we haven't really had many 3-0s in this tournament so far, but oh, we have got one now, ladies and gentlemen. Shaneak with the extra spice on top, landing that down air to send Marisa into that losers bracket match against RMH, the classic Palu versus Wario of the North.
That was very much, you didn't have to do that at the end. You didn't have to spike me.
Inkling's down air so reliable, it had just as much chance of going wrong and saving her, but, well, it did look pretty stylish, so I'll allow it. Maybe just wasn't certain that was going to be a failed recovery, but yeah, really, really good stuff from Shaneak. We'll be moving on to fight streaks on the winner's side.